After an intensive 6-month search covering 10 SADC countries, the finals of the FemBioBiz acceleration program have arrived. Who will be walking away as winners of our 6 categories? In this episode, we're back in the Pitching Den, a deal-making platform hosted at the SA Innovation Summit in Cape Town. This high-level forum is where businesses and funders interact with our winners, affording them the opportunity to access financing and support to grow and prosper both locally and globally. Our winners will also be securing an all-expenses-paid trip to attend Slush in Finland, one of Europe's biggest startup events. The stage is set. The last 12 regional finalists have only 3 minutes each to convince our panel to buy into their ideas. Let's meet the 5 industry professionals who have been selected as our judging panel. Please welcome Simbarashi Mudimbu, the Senior Manager at Lifeco Unlimited SA Group, who brings a wealth of financial knowledge and experience to the table. Introducing Mashuping Dipoko, an experienced and highly knowledgeable research analyst who is currently Senior Analyst at the Public Investment Corporation. Financially savvy panelist Denai Musando is an investment associate representing Goodwill Investments. Renee Fourie is the multi-channel marketing manager for Merck in Southern Africa, who have generously sponsored 50,000 rands in prizes. Bridget Evans is a director at the SAB Foundation, who are involved in various entrepreneurship activities and have sponsored 70,000 rands in prizes. And last but not least, our host for the Pitching Den, musician and innovation author Peter Greenwald. The competition is going down to the wire, with some innovative ideas being pitched by our regional finalists. We congratulate you all on this amazing journey of discovery. Our first pitch is by Ranthia Kaimbi, whose company Aquagreens Namibia promotes nutritious, healthy and affordable foods through aquaponic farming. Will our panel buy into her green idea?
With a team of 6, we are looking to set up a commercial-scale aquaponics farm in the Namib Desert, just about 20 kilometers outside the coastal town of Walfish Bay. Aquaponics is a combination of aquaculture and hydroponics, a plant production process driven by fish waste, and is chemical-free and environmentally friendly. The technology is highly scalable and profitable due to the low production costs involved because the process uses less scarce and costly resources such as land, water, and fertilizers. As an urban farm, we aim to bring our product closer to the end user, thereby eliminating all extra costs that would be included on imported goods, and to eventually help ensure food security through initiatives like the food bank. We are therefore seeking funding of 2 million rand in order to complete the setup by purchasing all outstanding components and equipment, as we've already invested about 100,000 to get started.
What is the waste product that is produced from fish?
The ammonia that's converted into nitrate and then into nitrate and then into nitrate that basically becomes the fertilizer that the plants absorb from the water.
Are they deceased fish? Are they still living?
Yeah, they're still living, so I can make revenue from selling both the fish and the plants.
Okay.
And the plants being not just vegetables, but also decorative or edible flowers, and the fish not only being freshwater fish, but also aquarium fish and freshwater prawns.
What does your pipeline look like, and how are you essentially preparing your pipeline? You're not yet in operations, but who are you speaking to as your potential buyers?
I already have 5 letters of intent from a supermarket, the only supermarket in Walfish Bay that basically closes at 10 p.m. I have from 2 fish processors, one being a fishing quota holder that also exports to Zambia. Another from a ship handling company, because Walfish Bay is a port city,
Right.
Namibian port city. And so a lot of the ship handling company now provides food for the ships on the ocean, on the Atlantic Ocean, and from a flower shop. Those I only got based on the idea. But
Okay.
now to get on the shelves, I need to basically produce and have samples to show to.
So how long do you think it's going to get you? How long do you think it's going to take you to
I'm
get to that
starting-
place where you can actually start delivering?
I have part of the infrastructure set up already, example, the grow beds and the fish tanks. I just need to put on the plumbing components that needs the process to start running. And then by end of December, I should have my first harvest of about 10,000 to 12,000 plants on vegetables.
Okay. And what was your team composition again? Sorry.
There are 6 of us. It's myself. There's a admin lady. There's an operations manager, and then I have 3 farm helpers who are already employed on the farm on which I'm leasing land, and I'll just add on to their salaries until I'm ready to employ more people next year when I'm fully set up. And I basically only registered the company last year thanks to the FemBioBiz program, because had I not been a participant in this program, I think I would have still, aquaponics would have still been a hobby, just a hobby. But now I'm looking into going commercial thanks to the training I received in this program.
Our next presenter is Bonolo Monte. Her company, Maungo Craft, specializes in tasty gourmet craft jams, packed with indigenous fruits and superfoods. Will our judges buy into the sweet deal?
We make gourmet craft preserves using indigenous fruits, and then we pair them with contemporary flavors to give you unique flavor profiles. We use the unused byproduct that typically goes to waste. Our preserves are sugar deprived, therefore we're adding more fruit, therefore we're giving you a healthier spread alternative. We have unique flavor profiles, and we use no artificial preservatives. And the gourmet food space is growing, and that's where Maungo Craft is operating. And in that time, we've won 6 awards, both locally and internationally. We are also supplying weddings, as in wedding favors and corporate gifts. We've recently started supplying your retailers and restaurants, where chefs are using our preserves because they're so unique in their menus. And we've also recently started supplying hospitality, farmers market, part-time, home-based, the whole enchilada, and we've turned over about 10,000 USD. We intended making money selling at high-end retail stores, your specialty stores, your hotels, giftings, and export. Our ask is 193,000, and this is so that we can increase our capacity to scale, so that we can also get the relevant certification and buy the equipment.
In terms of your capacity to supply, let's say, potentially all those 700 stores, what are your biggest challenges and restrictions?
Okay, so right now we're looking to get our Fsc certification, which is the highest food standard certification you can get. And so we need to solve that out this year. We're working on that for 2 reasons. Number one, we have an actual retailer in South Africa that wants us to do private labeling for them as well. And also to be able to export to the United States, we need to handle our FDA and all of that. So that's the biggest thing that we're working on at the moment. Capacity we've now moved into a shared factory space, and the capacity of that factory space is about 500,000 bottles per year.
Who have you been talking to in South Africa, and how have the conversations been going? Does the market look lucrative in any way or manner for you to scale in SADC or SSA as opposed to the US? or not?
We are actually talking to retailers. So my focus is both. What happened is that we went to the US pre-season, because you know Murula is seasonal. So we went pre-season so we can get a feel for people's interest and wants and needs. And when we went there to the Summer Fancy Food Show, it's the largest specialty food show in the US, we had retailers who were interested. South Africa is very much part of the plan. In fact, next year we want to sell 400,000 bottles, of which 100,000 is containing to the US and everything else is Southern Africa.
Hi, Bono.
Hello.
Could you just talk to me about your manufacturing arrangement? You mentioned that you're in a shared space.
Yes.
Do you own the manufacturing part of it, or is that subcontracted to someone?
So we've moved into a space that an old jam company used to own this space. We're leasing it so that we can, because they already have the kettles there, they have a lot of the other things so we're not starting from scratch.
You're actually in charge of the manufacturing process. You're not subcontracting to someone else.
No.
Okay.
We make every single product from the ground up. These are our flavor profiles. Nobody else makes them, so we are the ones who are handling it. Being reminded that as a woman you can do it and you're capable and it's possible. FemBioBiz has been very good for that, and just you matter. You know what I mean? You matter, queen. You matter. You're going to be driving the industry, and we need you for the other generations to come along. So I think FemBioBiz mandate is necessary. It's needed, and I hope other women, if this continues, that other women sign on. And it's on us, participants, to encourage other women to participate next time so we can keep it going. So FemBioBiz is really important. It's necessary.
Our next pitch is from Jean Bankuku. Her company, Tehila Enterprise, focuses on adding value and process capacity for locally grown orange-fleshed sweet potato. Will our panel dig into this tasty dish?
I'm here to present the orange fresh sweet potato puree innovation as a bakery ingredient. Malawi spends about $27 million every year on wheat flour importation, and yet orange fresh sweet potato puree can be used to replace wheat flour in almost all the bakery products at the rate of 20 to 60%. And our production for sweet potatoes is about 4 million metric tons every year, with very little value addition. And so when you use the orange fresh sweet potato puree, you're not only improving the nutrition content of your products, you're also reducing the cost of production, you're able to extend the shelf life of your products, but this also can be used as an affordable baby food. And however, the challenge now is to make this puree available on the market as a raw material. And so the solution to this is to come up with a shelf-stable sweet potato puree. For this solution, we need just additional equipment costing around $25,000 US for a pressure cooker, a vacuum packing machine, high heat resistant packaging material, and a high capacity puree processing equipment.
How does the nutritional value between the sweet potato differ to the wheat? When you say it's much higher, what percentage is it much higher?
Yes, so basically the orange fresh sweet potatoes are biofortified with beta-carotene, and that's why the focus is on the orange fresh sweet potato and not any other sweet potato. At the same time, when you use the sweet potato puree to replace part of the wheat flour, I know most of the people do not they'll go on a diet and not taking bread because of the high energy value. So when you compare the glycemic index of the wheat flour and the sweet potato, it's lower on the sweet potato. So it's healthier for those people who will be looking for a healthier product.
If you use your product as a substitute for wheat in a bakery process, does it affect the quality of the bread outlet?
In general, actually, it improves the quality of the bread. I just mentioned that the products where you use the orange fresh sweet potato puree, they have a longer shelf life. Sweet potato has got some antimicrobial properties, and so it's able also to keep the bread longer, like 5 days or 6 days. It will still be as fresh, and it's the bread is very soft, because it's the puree and not the flour. So at the same time, when you're looking at the healthy advantages is that I've heard people that are diabetic eating this bread because we are using the sweet potato and therefore we use very little amount of sugar. At the same time, with the puree, we are able to reduce the amount of fat that you use in your bakery products.
There's a whole team, a community, a nation that is waiting to be able to receive our entrepreneur who's emerged successful, but as well as the ladies that she's been interacting with throughout the program, throughout these past couple of months, in terms of, how do we then provide the necessary interventions from a capacity building point of view, from a preparation in terms of communications point of view, and as well from a branding point of view. Like Bonola says, she's packaging culture within a bottle. So how are we able to do that as Botswana Innovation Hub, as a country, to be able to share our culture as well as our country in terms of the innovation with the rest of the world?
Maureen Vere of Verega introduces a vegetarian sausage made from nutrient-dense cowpeas. The sausage is a tasty replacement for meat sausages. But will our panel be sold on her tasty offering?
A quarter of Zimbabwe's population is vegetarian, yet there are no locally produced vegetarian sausages. The ones that are available on our local market are all imported, and they are out of reach for this group. To solve the problem, Verega decided that we produce a locally made and affordable vegetarian sausage, voas, and patty burgers using a traditional drought-resistant and nutrient-dense cowpea that is widely grown in Zimbabwe by small-scale women farmers. The cowpea is rich in protein, iron, zinc, vitamins A and B6. Now, our market is vast and diversified, plus or minus 3 million, that is in Zimbabwe. It's comprising mainly of vegetarians, but also includes the health-conscious citizenry, the religious groups, those who are seeking dietary diversification, the low-income earners. Our costs were 17,900, and our profit so far is 12,600. Now, for the next 3 years, we would like to upscale production to 100 tons. We also would like to introduce 4 new products, 2 new flavors to the sausages, increase outgrowers to 100. And our ask is $100,000, split as follows. We would like to finalize all our appliances, which include the IP processing. We also like to buy additional equipment as we expand and upscale.
My question to you actually is around the risk of Zimbabwe's current monetary issue and the bond note, and what kind of implication does that have on your financials and actually in your operations in itself?
We have pegged everything to US dollars. So as a country, most of our sales now are being done using the swipes or bank transfers, RTGSs, or now we also have the mobile money. So when all our businesses are done professionally, so we are not affected by the bond fluctuations, and because that is happening mainly on the black market.
Okay, so you mentioned that you are looking into 4 other new products.
Yes.
And 2 other flavors, new flavors.
Yes.
My question is, what are those other products, and do you think you guys will have capacity to focus on everything and reach the scale that you want to reach?
Thank you. Yes, the 4 products that we would like to introduce, our main ingredient is going to be cowpeas, and we are targeting the vegetarian market using that as our main ingredient. So we would like to do polonis, because there are no vegetarian polonis in Zimbabwe. We would like to do salamis, beer sticks, and also would like to have the ready to eat off-the-shelf pies, which are very popular in Zimbabwe, but they are meat-based. So what we would like to do is to give the people who do not eat meat products also an opportunity to eat these products. Meat is now very expensive in Zimbabwe, between $5 and $7 a kg, and a sausage like that will be an alternative.
Yeah, my question here is,
yes.
I think this is very fantastic actually. Mm-hmm. What's your ambition outside of Zimbabwe, and how do you see yourself scaling to other parts, and who would your possible competitors be outside of Zimbabwe, because you are the only alternative?
Now, outside Zimbabwe, we would like to just work within the SADC region. Would like to start with Zambia, South Africa. Then we move to Tanzania. I know South Africa has got a very big sausage market, and we would like to introduce ourselves as a vegetarian.
I know you're passionate about your product and about your business, and quite often you see people running off and really working on that product, but they sometimes forget to do some of the basic homework, the boring stuff. You know, you don't need to go to lawyers. If you can afford to, that's great. But otherwise, ask other business owners who've been through the mill, who've paid the school fees and who've made the mistakes so that you don't make those mistakes again. We see that happening all too often, unfortunately, and it's quite sad when somebody has to change a trademark or they have to reprint 10,000 bottles or packaging. And then, yeah, I mean, it's just a case of really enjoy the whole process. And if you've done your homework up front, hopefully you won't have to change anything and you can keep on building on what you started.
The last to pitch is Nomahlubi Nazo from the student category, who is a scientist that has formulated a healing remedy for wounds and scars using locally sourced fish scales. Her hope is that this natural remedy will provide new opportunities to unemployed graduates in her community.
So I turn fruit and veg waste into activated charcoal, and I use it for pet care applications, for face slow healing wounds and boils. And I also take fish scales and I make them into collagen for wound care applications. So because I get the scales for free, I can mix it with water and also essential oils, and then when I develop it, then it's 5 rands. On Amazon, it's currently sold at 15 rands. There isn't a company right now in South Africa that makes what I make. But my ask for 1 million is to help me build capacity. And my IP is pending, so I need the registration costs. And because I'm a student, I'm also currently in the customer discovery phase, where I actually go into hospitals and I actually ask the person that I'm formulating for, what is it that you need? So I go into the banker and I go into the maternity ward. Like I said, I can beat the rand-dollar exchange rate and the shipment times and not only make a fine product, but to be proudly South African and to really make a difference in our communities.
Do you have any clinical studies to back up your product?
Okay. Before I actually registered at UCT, I wanted to do my master's in polymer science. So I was looking for natural polymers that could actually do it. So then it took me over like a year of the actual studies. Yes, I have got the research that has been done. So I can actually email you the studies that it was done.
Could you tell me a bit more about you mentioned that you've got some IP, some pending protection.
Yes. Okay.
What is that on? Which product is that on? And
only for converting the fish scale, the process of converting the fish scales into the collagen and actually making the hydrogels and the films that sit on the wound.
That science can be applied to a number of different products down the line.
Yes, it can. So I've got 3 different types of people. I have a lady that has lupus that uses that. Then I've got another one with eczema, and I can share the pictures with you and her SMS.
The last 12 of our 32 finalists have completed their presentations in our pitching den at the SA Innovation Summit in Cape Town. After 6 months of presentations and deliberations, our panel have finally decided on the 4 category winners who will be jetting off to Slush in Finland with our 2 student winners. Jennifer Meyer, Nutritional Porridge, Zimbabwe. Bonolo Monte, Indigenous Craft Jams, Botswana. Maureen Vere, Vegetarian Sausages, Zimbabwe. Muzalema Mwanza, Baby Delivery Kit, Zambia. Muzalema also won 50,000 Rand from Merck SA and 5,000 euros at Slush Global Impact Accelerator. The 4 winning pitchers also earned the chance to present their ideas to an international panel of investors for even more funding opportunities. Season 3 of FemBioBiz is taking place in 2019. For further details, visit nepad.sanbio.org.